Are luxury bags still luxury? Are they? Hello and welcome back, or welcome. I am Jill Maurer. I'm a fine jewelry designer. I talk a lot about jewelry here on YouTube, and I also talk about luxury handbags and luxury design. Today I'm asking the question whether luxury bags are still luxury. And this video was inspired by Beckman. I was watching her do a video on what luxury means to her, and I will link that below. And the very first thing that Autumn said, which is something we hear a lot from almost every YouTuber, is that in order for a luxury bag to be luxury, it has to come from a big design house. Not only is that not true for me, I'm not even sure the big design houses are still luxury. And that's one thing I want to talk about with you. Now, first of all, for luxury, everybody decides for themselves what luxury is. That's the way luxury works. You get to decide for you, I get to decide for me. And so this is just my thinking on this. For me, a luxury handbag to be luxury never had to come from a big luxury design house. It could, and several of mine do. It could come from a big luxury design house, but it didn't have to. In fact, if I were ever to find a master craftsperson who makes luxurious handbags, that would be luxury to me, even if it were just one person making spectacular bags. And in fact, would be even a little more exclusive than something like Chanel, because, you know, not very many people could have it. And to me, that is luxury. If a name means a lot to you, then a name means a lot to you. And for me, a name is supposed to be an indication of the quality of the item. The name itself isn't necessarily quality. What I mean by that is there are some big luxury design houses who have put their name on things that I don't consider to be luxury at all. One thing that comes to mind is back in the 90s when there were so many Prada nylon bags. I just would look at that and say, I am so sorry, that is not luxury. That is not luxury to me. I mean, I get that some nylon bags are made better than others, but how well can you really make a nylon bag? It's just not luxury to me. And to this day, unfortunately, when I see Prada in any form, when I see the name Prada, I think of that upside down triangle on a bunch of nylon bags in the 90s, and it's not one of my favorite brands. That doesn't mean that they don't make some beautiful things. They do. I just don't feel very connected with the brand, and that is a large part of the reason. I'm going to run quickly through what, for me, makes something luxury, and then see whether some of these big design houses even still fall into this category, because this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately, and I have been struggling with. So I'm kind of working it out here, and I would love for you to join the conversation. I'd love to understand whether you've been thinking about this, or if you think, nope, the only thing that is luxury is a big luxury design house. So let me just run through what is luxury to me. For something to be luxury to me, and we're talking specifically handbags here, I'm not talking in general. For specifically handbags, it has to be well designed. It has to be pleasing to my eye. It has to be easy to use and easy for me to carry around. It has to, you know, serve some sort of purpose. It does have to be well designed. It also has to be well made, well constructed from nice materials. So whatever I consider to be nice, you know, so from good quality design, good quality construction, and good quality materials. Those are important to me for a handbag to be luxury. It has to be special in some way. It has to feel special. And by that I mean that it can't really be mass produced. There needs to have some sort of feeling of exclusivity to the bag. Not, you know, that it's exclusive as to who can get the bag, but the bag itself is not mass produced. There just aren't enough of them for everybody to have them. There's something special about the bag. They are often expensive. They don't have to be expensive, but the expense needs to be justified, at least somewhat. I understand that you do pay more for a name, that much I get, because you're paying for the branding that the company has done around the name. But there's a point at which it becomes so expensive, it crosses the line into folly. It just goes too far and it becomes foolish, where the bag is clearly not worth it. The name is not worth it. None of it is worth it. It is foolish to pay that price. And I think some of the brands are approaching that, very honestly. And the last thing is, it has to appeal to me personally. I have to feel a connection with it. Now, that doesn't mean that a bag isn't luxury. If that's just luxury for me. I can look at a bag and say, that's definitely a luxury bag. Somebody would love that bag. It's not for me, therefore it's not for me. So I don't know how that plays in there. But now let's take a look at some of these big designer brands and whether they fit into this category. One is, you could argue that we are crossing over from expensive into folly. And I'm not going to go too far into that right now, because that is something for everybody to decide. But what I will say is, when you start making the bag more and more expensive to make it exclusive, where do you cross the line? Where does it just become insane? Where does the price become too much? When does the emperor not have any clothes? That is a question that I have been struggling with, because the price of bags have gone up astronomically compared with everything else, and I can't really see a reason other than supply and demand, and that feels like a frenzy to me. And that brings me to my other point, and that is mass production. A lot of these brands, I think, are knocking on the door, if they haven't already crossed the line of mass production. When you've got a company making over $1 billion, how many bags is that really? That sounds like mass production to me. And it makes me step back and think, is this luxury? Is this something that I want to continue to be a part of? And it's a question I've been asking myself a lot. Now, some people will say, yes, it needs to be a big name, and these big names are luxury. First of all, they're big. That somehow makes them luxury. You know, Target's big. I don't know. I don't buy the big thing as being luxury. In fact, I would say a smaller house would be more luxurious. These brands used to be smaller than, say, Target, or at the time Kmart, or whatever. Bigger does not mean luxurious. Then you say, okay, well, they have a history. They have a long history. You know, Sears Roebuck has a very long and interesting, very rich history. Is it luxury? Coca-Cola is old, has a long, rich history. Wouldn't call it luxury. I just don't think that that's luxury. When you're looking at a big, expensive name on a bag, I get that the name matters in that it can affect the price of the bag, but it matters because it tells you that that company has a history of making quality items. If it does, then that can be important. But there's still the question of, is the bag I'm looking at right now living up to those standards? Is the bag I'm looking at right now luxury? Because we all know that all of these brands have put their names on things that clearly were not, just to sell a lot of nylon bags, which is the example that I used before. So this is what I have been struggling with lately, and I would like to open the conversation to you. And I only named one brand. I was going to not name any brands, and then I thought, oh, I will name brands. I don't know, but you could insert almost any brand, and a lot of us know, you know, the top three, and that everybody thinks of. Some people even say they have to be one of those three to be luxury. I'm questioning that. I am questioning it hard. One of my very favorite brands that I have shown you here before is Shiatsu Chen. And she makes beautiful, gorgeous bags that are leather with jade handles, that are hand embroidered. That is luxury. I mean, she's smaller, but that is luxury. I firmly believe that. I would love to hear from you. Has this been running through your mind? Have you been questioning this? It's not only that the price has gone up, it's the same bag over and over being mass produced. What do you think about this? Is it luxury? Is it not? Is it giving you pause? Do you feel there's a point where we cross from luxury to folly? What do you think? I would love to hear from you in the comments below. If you like this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe. I've challenged myself to upload a video every single day for the year 2019, and I would certainly love to see you here again tomorrow. Until then.